The second leg of my Japan trip was to Kyoto, the land of temples. Only we kind of started off failing at that. The most unexpected part of Kyoto was the centrality of its train station. It's where all the shopping centers were, and where a majority of the food was. The building itself was vast, with a kind of wide open structure that allowed it to hold a lot, but also breathe, and a rooftop deck for looking out onto the city below. Something mysterious way over there. Bright light that hopefully I can make it visible. When we got to see the temples on our second day, there was a sense of innate calm to them, which speaks volumes on how deliberate Zen gardens are, and also how easily a light sprinkle of rain can really set the mood, despite a reality of hordes of tourists pressing in on each other to hurry. I found the rock garden in Ryoanji to be especially pleasant. There are 15 stones, but it is impossible to see all of them at once from any one angle, except above, I guess. The entire area was also less crowded and generally felt more peaceful. We headed next to the Arashiyama area and trekked to a restaurant hidden in the woods, which was supposed to have the best tofu, only to be turned away because we didn't have a reservation. We made do by circling back through the Arashiyama bamboo grove and back to the main street, and ended up eating at an entirely different tofu restaurant. There was still enough time in the afternoon to visit one last place, the iconic Fushimi Inari Taisha, and it did not disappoint. It's a unique, inspiring sight amidst the hundreds of temples in Kyoto, and there is really nothing quite like it. The thousands of torii gates flood your senses and make the walk seem infinite. Even on our tired, aching feet, the uphill trek seemed to energize rather than tire us out. That said, we did turn back at the first big intersection, and it turned out to be the wise choice. That evening we went for our first meal of okonomiyaki, which was delicious. We saved our last full day for looking at deer. Nara is about an hour away from Kyoto by train, and if you ignore the commodification and occasional mistreatment of these gentle but wild animals, the area is definitely worth a visit.
I found a diarrhea. Did it come from you?
We went to one last temple in Nara, and this one was Buddhist, as you can tell by the presence of a giant Buddha. I was only a little bit disappointed that it wasn't as big as I thought it would be, but it was a nice visit nevertheless. We got back to Kyoto in the evening and took a stroll through the Nishiki market as we tried to decide where to eat dinner.
Look, it's a surprise shrine. After all this time, we finally found a taiyaki place.
And it was in the shopping district that we accidentally finally saw a physical manifestation of the ongoing festival, the Gion Matsuri, which we had previously only heard and seen the tiniest of hints of. The most magical parts of any trip are the unexpected treats. And though Kyoto was a mystifying place with too many tourists and not enough explanation for what was going on at any time, it was a nice place to be, and my trip there ended well, with a light but delectable dish of tea poured over rice. Oh, and also we spotted Mount Fuji on the way back from Tokyo. So yeah, there's that. Stay tuned for the final installment of this too long series, and I will see you next week.